Hello everyone, this is Kevin Schwant, writing coach. I'm going to take a few minutes to discuss the top issues with APA style that I've noticed in student writing in my decade and a half as a writing professor, coach, and editor. First, as APA periodically updates the style manual, it can be tricky to remember which edition to use. Many of you from previous studies may be used to APA 6, but the current edition is APA 7. And I'll be focused on APA 7, and we'll start with some aspects of writing style before moving on to some comments on references and citations. So why APA? The primary goal of APA style is clarity. Many APA guidelines are designed to make ideas clear. A second goal is consistency, because social science requires a common basic language. The ideas are to be the focus, not the writing. So the guidelines of APA are meant to foreground the data and your analysis rather than your style. Perhaps the most common error concerns the serial comma, sometimes referred to as the Oxford comma. In APA, whenever you write a list of 3 or more items, you must include a comma before the conjunction. So that would be and, but, or any other conjunction. So, for example, rather than writing apples, oranges, and bananas with only one comma, you should write apples, oranges, and bananas with a comma before the and. This can seem a little silly or unimportant, but the serial comma, like all of the APA guidelines, provides clarity in many instances, and it is prescribed by APA. Anthropomorphism means making something that is not human take on human characteristics, and it's discouraged in APA style. So it's important to avoid attributing human characteristics to non-human entities, including actions. So, for example, rather than saying the study sought to understand, you should write I sought to understand, because the study cannot seek to do anything. So, in a related topic, you might notice that I used the word I in the previous example. Now, that's the use of first person. The first person used to be forbidden in academic writing, but for the sake of making your writing clear, APA now allows it in particular circumstances, specifically when referring to something you're doing. You may use the first person I. This doesn't mean that you can offer your opinion as in I believe that XYZ is true. The use of the first person only applies when you specifically refer to actions you take, like interviewing or examining documents. Another common error is using first names or titles in the body of the text. You do not need to provide an author's credentials. If you consider the work to be of value, we assume the author is a scholar or other professional with knowledge of the field. First names are often gendered, which can lead to bias among some authors. So the first example here is Dr. Frank Johnson of XYZ University argued that. A better way of writing this would simply be Johnson argued that. Also, use the past tense whenever you're referring to past studies. So, rather than writing Davis writes, write Davis wrote. This provides clarity and accuracy. The author is not currently saying this. The author once said it, even if it was just yesterday. Regarding citations and references, the complex APA system is intended for consistency. Because there are so many types of sources and full references require specific information, I will not go through every possible source, but rather provide some guidelines. The APA manual has examples of most types of sources you will encounter. Citations and references are a linked system. So a citation must refer to a reference, and a reference must refer to a citation. There shouldn't be any extra references that don't refer to citations within the paper. The citation provides the reader the last name that they can then look up in the reference section of the paper and identify the source and the publication information. Citations are typically just simply made up of the last name and the year. And if the citation refers to a direct quote, it must also include page numbers, another very common error. References follow a very strict format. I'll give you just the example of journal articles because most of the sources that you'll be using will be journal articles. Errors that I find in journal article references include not having volume numbers or issue numbers or the page range of the article. Also, the capitalization of references is also very important. Articles should be in sentence case. That means that only the first letter of the first word is capitalized. Journal titles, on the other hand, are in title case, and books are in sentence case. I hope that this was a quick and useful just overview of some of the most common errors that I find in the use of APA style. Please use your APA manual for specific examples of references, and I wish you all the best in your writing.